How many times have you searched for the best boxing gloves, scrolled through hundreds of products and ended up more confused when you first started? I've been there, and the truth is, most people waste their money on gear they don't even need. So before you hit buy now, let me break it down for you. I'll show you exactly what you need depending on where you are in your boxing journey, whether you're training at home, stepping into the ring, or just getting started. So let's pop down to the gym and explore this in more depth. Now I'm going to break it into three categories: fighters, home users, and beginners. If you stick around to the end of this video, you're going to discover one of the best things that you can invest in. Section number one, and that is fighters. Now with all these categories, there's going to be items you need regardless of what level you're at. They're non-negotiables. However, I'm going to add some tweaks to it and go into it in a deeper way. With fighters, a mouth guard, a set of hand wraps, make sure to wash them. Especially if you're planning to fight in competition, you're going to need a pair of boxing boots. Now these were actually given to me by someone that I used to spar, and they do the job. I've won many fights with them, and you know what? You don't have to spend too much money on a pair of boxing boots. Look at Mike Tyson's earlier days. He didn't come out with flashy stuff, but they worked. You're going to need a good set of sparring gloves. 16 ounce preferably. You want to protect your opponent. You also want to protect your own hands, but a good set of sparring gloves. And there's one thing I'm going to mention: depending on the brands, depending on how much money you're willing to invest in, a good set of sparring gloves is something that is really going to help you protect your hands and keep everything good for the long run. What I will say is, with these sparring gloves in particular, you can see that there is wrist support, but where I feel it's lacking here is this area here, okay? So when you're punching, for example, this area here is a bit more flimsy because it doesn't have the support here, okay? It has plenty of padding in this section, which is brilliant for sparring. I prefer these sparring gloves. What I'm going to say about these sparring gloves, the fact that I'm able to lace them up and tighten this area gives more stability when sparring. It still has your padding, but it allows for me to have more protection in the wrist area, an area which sometimes can be prone to being weak, just to do with the mechanics of your wrist. A cheaper option here is the brand RDX. Now I'm not sponsored by any of these by no means, but the RDX glove is a pretty good sparring glove. However, sometimes I find just with these cheaper gloves, the padding can be a wee bit more dense sometimes, and you might find that you're hurting people with sparring. Now of course, if that's your goal, then fine, by all means, but I just feel that these gloves sometimes can be a wee bit more dense. They're still a very good glove as a beginner, or even as someone that is a fighter that doesn't want to spend a lot of money. When it comes to hitting the pads as a fighter, something that I've noticed that I've been doing in my own training is having a pair of mitts. Now you can get these pretty cheap. They don't have a lot of wrist support and they don't have a lot of padding. However, the main goal here is when you're a fighter, you want to improve your accuracy, you want to improve your technique, and sometimes hitting with a smaller glove will also add more conditioning into the wrist and into the knuckles. You're going to be forced into lowering your level of intensity with your punch force. Therefore, you're going to be focusing more in on accuracy and conditioning of your hands. So a good pair of mitts that will really help when hitting the bag, hitting the pads, and working on accuracy. If you're a fighter, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to be in some form of boxing facility, which is going to provide different bags, different tools, and different equipment. You're not going to need to invest too much money if you're willing to be a fighter. Most clubs will be fully kitted out and have great facilities and great tools for whatever you need. However, these items, in my opinion, as a fighter, are non-negotiables. There's a couple of key items I'll also mention on top of it. Now, I would recommend getting your own headgear. Now, if you join a club, they will provide headgear, of course, but my only reason for getting your own headgear, honestly, is just hygiene. People will be using the same headgear, different nights, sweat, and I just feel it's the best thing that you can do is buy your own headgear. You can wash it, you can clean it, and it's going to be something that's going to mold into your head shape better over time. In terms of your wraps, it may vary in terms of the type of wrap you're using. There is better wraps out there. So another thing I started doing as a fighter was adding some sponge with my wrap, and I would put this on my knuckle and wrap it around, and this would protect my hands, especially if I was sparring or hitting the heavy bag really hard. And this was a great way to protect my hands, especially inside sparring where things sometimes can get heated. One last thing that you're going to need, especially if you're sparring, is a good protection down low. The amount of people that I see not protecting themselves and causing themselves more damage It's just unnecessary, so it's something that you want to invest in as a fighter. Now, if you are a home user, I get it, you might want to buy into some of the gimmicks out there, the flashy stuff, and that's understandable. And do what you want. Honestly, it's your gym. You can take it in any direction you want. If you have the space, if it's large enough, or even if it's a small room, it doesn't matter. You can fill it out whatever way you desire. However, if you want to take something away from this video, my advice would be keep it simple. If you have the space, I'd recommend investing in one really good thing, and that's a heavy bag. The heaviest bag that you can get your hands on. I bought a bag, Bulldozer Fightwear. It's super heavy. I think it's close to 100 kilo, if not more. This is going to help you increase your punching power because the resistance of that bag, the heavier that bag is, you're going to find that you're increasing the density in your muscles, in your wrist, in your forearm, and everything that that bag is holding weight-wise. You're punching against it, it's coming to you and you're punching hard and meeting it halfway. That's going to increase your strength when you're going to fight or spar, and honestly, it's one of the best investments. Look at the old school fighters, George Foreman, Rocky Marciano. They didn't have flashy stuff, but they used what they had to the best of their ability. The heavy bag is one of the best things you can invest in. You are a beginner, keep it simple. You don't need to buy a lot of stuff. With addition to all the basic stuff that I just mentioned, the non-negotiables like your boxing gloves, your hand wraps, I would recommend a skipping rope. Now, of course, you can add a skipping rope into any of them categories, but a skipping rope is going to be something as a beginner you want to get good at. It's going to increase your cardio. It's going to help you massively with footwork, especially if you're an amateur and you're starting out. It's going to help you get up on your toes. It's going to help you develop footwork patterns that's going to be useful inside the ring. And like I says, as a beginner, the most important thing is that you're focusing on the technique, you're focusing on the sport and the science and the art of boxing. Now, you've made it to the end of the video. You've discovered all the things you need to do to become the best fighter that you can be. I want to teach you one thing that you need to invest in. And that one thing that you need to invest in is this: knowledge. As silly as that may sound, as corny as that may sound, increasing your knowledge will be one of the best things that you can do. One of the best things that you can purchase is knowledge. Increasing your intelligence outside the ring. Learning through videos, learning through books, learning through studying your sparring sessions. This is the best thing that you can do to increase your level and your potential to become the best fighter that you can be, the best person that you can be. Study the sport, master the sport. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for sticking around, commenting below, liking or sharing this video. I really do appreciate it and it means a lot to me. And I hope you can stick around to see my journey and my growth. And in return, I want to help you become the best version of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.